the 28th, 1984. I'm visiting Aunt Ann Epstein and Aunt Bertha Blackman, and Aunt Ann are here, and we are going to talk about Ellis Island, their trip here from Russia. Now, we're going to start in one moment. Aunt Bertha, I want to ask you about your father. Tell us about your father first, and his being in the Army.
Yeah. Now, Zeta.
Yeah, Zeta.
Zeta was in the Russian Army. At that time, the service was for 4 years. But during the time that he was in the service, a prince was born to the Tsar. You see, he had 4 daughters and no sons. So when the son was born, he was so happy that he was giving out special prizes to the soldiers and to other places too. But Zeta was lucky, they drew numbers. It was like a lottery. They drew numbers, and Zeta drew a lucky number, so the service for him was cut down to almost 2 years instead of 4 years. So he came home, and he was already, of course he was married. And then when the Japanese-Russian War broke out, Zeta was afraid that he was called to serve.
What year was that?
That was in
1903? Yeah,
1903.
something like that. Okay.
She was born 1900, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
She's 83.
Yeah.
1900.
So it was like 1903. 1903. Okay.
That's right. So he was afraid that he'll be called to the service. So he and a friend who was also in the service decided to go to Austria or one of those places and escape being called to serve in the war. So while they were traveling, they decided, while they're on their way to go to another country, why not go all the way to America?
Wow.
That's when they decided to go to America. And I remember when Baba got a letter that they were going to America, it sounded like the end. When they went to America, you didn't know what was going to happen to them. Sometimes they sent for their wives to come and join them, and sometimes they didn't.
Because they found a girlfriend.
Yes, I'm sure they did. Sure. We know that lots of husbands never...
Certainly, they forgot about it. Sometimes they met in very peculiar ways.
Yes.
So, Zeta and the other young man decided to go. And I know, as I said, Baba cried when she got the letter because she thought she'd never see him again.
Of course.
However, she got letters that he's working, and he's going to save enough money for a ship's cargo.
What's that?
That's a ticket for the ship.
Oh, my. Yeah. Now, what town did you live in?
In Dacia. It was like Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, Estatel.
Estatel.
How do you spell it?
Dacia.
D-A-S-H-U-D.
I guess. That was in Russia. What was the nearest town? Do you know?
Well, the big town, with a name was one Iman. But Odessa was the...
Oh, Odessa.
Was the big...
that was near the port. That was the port, wasn't it?
That was the Black Sea.
Yeah.
They keep the Gubernia.
Yeah.
That
was where you were born.
So that was K-I-E-V.
That Kiev, yeah, and Gubernia was where you were born.
That's right. It's like a township or state or whatever you would call it. So anyhow, they just saved his money, and he sent us tickets to come.
Now tell how many people there were involved.
Well, we were 7 people.
Okay, that was...
And the 6 children.
All right.
But Baba had a niece, the Millers.
Yes.
And Mrs. Miller's mother came to Baba and asked her if she would take care, what was her name? Manecha, and two boys she had. She had two little boys. She was a young woman, so her mother came and she coached
That was the Al
Baba.
and Lou, I guess.
Huh?
Al and Lou.
Al and Lou
Right,
Miller.
That's right. And they begged Baba to look after Manecha and the two children.
Oh, God.
Because she was so young and it's such a long trip. So Baba said, why not? She said, she'll come with us. And then there was a young woman, I think.
Well, where was Mr. Miller at the time?
Where was the husband? Was he in the United
already
States?
In the United
Uh-huh.
States, yes. So I think that he and Zeta had gotten in touch around.
Uh-huh.
You know, they look somewhat alike.
Yes, I know. I remember. Yeah.
He was a nephew.
Uh-huh.
He was a son of Zeta's sister,
Yeah, yeah. He was a nephew.
a nephew to a sister.
Yeah. So,
And then there was another.
Another young woman who also came to Baba and said, you're a little older and your children are a little grown up. And well, would you please look after
Oh,
my
my God.
daughter? She's got two little children. She's a very young
The more
woman.
the merrier.
And Baba says, well, we're all together and she'll just be with us.
So that was 7 and 6. That was 13 people traveling together.
Let me see, 7 and 3
And three. Now, how old was Bub at that time? Do you know?
Well, I know she had something wrong with her front teeth, and Zeta wrote to her before she comes to America to fix her teeth.
Oh, that's
because
funny.
She won't look so nice.
That I remember.
And-
That's his face.
Isn't that
Yeah,
interesting?
She was a very young woman.
Sure.
But, you know, the dentists were not so available
Uh-huh,
in those days, and you have to go to a different town and all
Sure.
that.
Isn't that
But
something?
Baba did it. She fixed her teeth, and she looked very much nicer
Uh-huh.
with her teeth. So we all came together. But
Now, let's call off the names and how old they were. We'll start with Aunt Rose. She was the youngest, right?
She was a year and a half.
She was a year and a half, and then came Aunt
And,
Ann, who was 4,
Yeah,
and Uncle Abe, who was 6,
yeah.
and you were, what, 7?
Now, what
As
year
far as
was
that,
that?
if he was 6, we're about 2-3 years apart.
Yeah.
We are.
So, if you
And my
were-
father was how old, 8?
Oh, he was more. He was about 12, and he was
My father was
or
12?
11. Sure.
Well, how
don't
many
forget
years
how
difference? Oh, how many years difference was there between?
between him and me?
Yeah.
There was a little more than 2 years.
Oh,
Two
I
and a
see.
half
We're
years.
about 3
Yeah.
years apart.
2.5 years.
Oh, so and Aunt
Yeah.
Bertha, Aunt Esther was,
She was the oldest.
yeah, I know, so she was about 14.
Yeah, or maybe more, because you see, we were registered for school, or no, when they got the ship's card, they had to put down the names and ages of all the
Uh-huh.
children. The citizenship papers, when Zeta went for the citizenship.
Oh, yeah.
You have
He
those,
put down,
You have
I
those.
have it, they put Zeta, what we know from Chachmas, you know, he put down her right age. So she was not included in the citizenship
Oh,
papers.
she had
because she had to get a citizenship papers
of her
of
own. Oh, my.
Before she was past that age.
Oh, I think
Now, Aunt
14,
Esther,
I think.
Aunt Esther was terribly hurt, but she got her citizenship
Uh-huh,
papers.
uh-huh,
Yes,
uh-huh.
she went through the whole works.
Yeah.
She got her independence with.
So how much older was your mother than you, for instance? Was she like 35 at the time that you came
She
over?
wasn't too young when she got married.
Oh, that's right. She was older than
No,
Zeta.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
25
She was
29.
older than Zeta, because I remember she would never admit her age. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Well,
Because
They
she
were
was,
25 or 26, both of them, when they got
oh
married.
yeah, no, she was
Yeah.
older. I remember, because she didn't want,
and you see, this was her excuse. She had an older sister, Esther, and she said she was shrewd. I love her. She said that Aunt Esther had the days of every child, and there were, I don't know, 8 or 10 daughters.
Yeah, oh, from her mother.
son.
Oh, my.
And it was a big family. The Chaim Coleman, he was the father of
Oh,
all
I
of
see.
them.
Is that right?
And everybody said Chaim Coleman is a very clever man. Look at the nice husbands he got for all his 8 daughters.
Yeah, Bubba, it was a match, wasn't it?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
They were all, isn't that
They
amazing?
were all matched, and they were all successful and lovely.
Well, who was going to get a divorce? Did anybody ever? You just stayed with them.
Well,
I know.
Maybe separate them easily.
Yeah, I know that Bubba didn't see him, I think, until just before they were married. Isn't that
That's
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Bubba
that.
used to tease him. You know, Zeta was a very, very hard worker.
Yeah.
And he was an apprentice first. You know, that's how they worked
Mhm.
it there. You had to be an apprentice for a certain number of years, and you had to learn the trade.
What was his trade in Russia?
He was a blacksmith.
He was a blacksmith in Russia.
And he could also, he was also a wagon wright, they called
Oh,
it,
yeah.
An iron worker.
or a carpenter builder, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
he could build wagons.
Uh-huh.
Look at the letterheads that I gave you.
Yeah, that's right.
Those wagon builder.
Yeah, wagon builder and
Iron
blacksmith.
Yes, and he was very good at
Uh-huh.
it. So he worked as apprentice, I said, and they worked very, very hard and long hours
sure.
in those days. And he was in another little town.
Oh, he didn't live in,
Probably
oh.
Not at that time. So when they, how would you say, when he was proposed to meet a young lady, he had to walk
Oh, my
to the
God.
town where Bubba lived.
About how far was it?
Well, it was a number of miles.
But he
several
liked to
miles.
walk.
He liked to walk, yeah, but in those days after work, you know.
Oh, my.
So
Blotter.
anyhow,
In the
in the blotter,
What's the blotter? Oh, in the mud.
on the street. So when he finally came, and they gave him a glazerless hay and warmed him up, you know.
Oh, God.
And he was sitting there, and they were all talking, and he dozed off.
Oh, my.
So Barbara always used to tease him when you came to see me. You fell asleep. You weren't interested.
Isn't that something?
But they were a gorgeous couple.
Oh, I know. He was
Yeah.
handsome, I
How
know.
long before they got married?
Yeah, how long before they got married?
Well, it took some months until it was arranged.
Uh-huh, it was
And,
arranged?
yes, and his side of the family, whoever it was. See, his father died when he was very
Oh, I see. How many children were in his family?
That I don't know.
I remember
about
the
6,
sister from-
5 or 6.
I remember the sister from
For Trenton.
A sister
Oh, that was
South-
Clara's grandmother.
South
Yeah.
America.
Yes, a sister in South
South America.
America. And then,
That's where we
and
get that
then the Miller's parent, the mother.
Mr.
That was
Miller.
another
Yeah, that was
m-
another
sister. That was a sister.
or
That was
brother.
Bubba. That was Zeta's sister.
Zeta, so
Uh-huh.
were there
You
about
know, Claire, come to the old register.
Let's go, yeah.
How did you think of it? I never asked.
Isn't that?
Never asked. We were too dumb to ask. We were so busy with our own family.
Yeah.
So we asked way back.
Yeah, isn't that a shame?
Because they weren't in America.
I know.
In America, you would visualize
Yeah.
this is sister.
and you write it down. Now there, we didn't know how to write.
Yeah.
You know,
Bubba never learned to read and
I know
write.
this
She
much.
learned a little of Hebrew so that she could go to the synagogue and follow the
Uh-huh.
prayers.
But
Now Zeta,
Yeah, I know.
He knew his Bible.
I
you
remember.
know, and
But the thing
prayers.
is, when she got a letter from America, somebody had to read it for
read it to
her. That's what
and
I.
to answer him, they had to get a letter writer.
Yeah, isn't that?
He
some-
used to sit in the market with a little table before
Uh-huh.
him, and you came and you
The
gave him
scribe,
the
I guess
address.
it's
A
called
scribe,
scribe.
yes.
Yeah, and he would sit there with a little table, and you gave him the address and everything about him, and he wrote the letters, and that's how they
Isn't
You
corresponded
know
back
what?
and forth.
Bubba's family was more interesting. Loved her.
Yeah.
And
Well, their
the
grandchildren.
one who came over from Europe. And I went with Bubba to New York.
Oh,
to
you
meet her.
mean her sister? You
Yeah.
mean the Laskin's mother?
And Lanson's mother, exactly. This family, Zeta had just a couple sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
But
Well, you
Bubba had
see
a whole
there,
raft
Oh,
well,
Bubba-
you see, it was because Pops father died very young,
Ah.
you see, and the mother had to help
Oh,
raise
my.
him, and they were sent away to the apprentices
Oh.
and all that sort of thing. So, you know, you can't keep track. Even here, you know, this one is in Wisconsin, and
That's
one
right,
is in
that's
Virginia.
right.
You know, you couldn't keep
And
record.
Baba had-
Whereas with Baba, most of them kept together.
She
Mhm.
babysat for her sister's children when she was no older than the nieces and the...
That's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Slaughter,
that's right.
Remember Slaughter?
Yeah.
Slaughter was a niece. And they looked like...
Yes.
Yeah.
How? What was Bubba's maiden name?
Who knows?
You do it.
No, I never knew it.
Tabachman Club?
No,
Something
no.
like that.
It ended in SKY. Tatovsky or something.
Tatovsky?
I
And you
knew
asked
with
her,
a
that's
T.
what she said. Spelling is your guess.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
I would say Tatovsky.
Tatovsky, isn't that something?
Yeah.
And the
Uh-huh.
nearest to
But
it.
Pop's name was Sokolovsky.
Yeah.
And the letter carrier used to say to him, you know, when he got letters, what do you want that ski there to
Yeah.
take it off? My father said, take it off, you know.
Yeah.
It was easier for him. He
Sure.
could write the address.
Yeah, I remember how he used to write his
Yeah.
name, Daniel. I can still see that signature,
Yeah, that's
the way
right.
he wrote it.
So he wrote the address, and it was easier for him. He didn't have to write the
Sure, SKY.
Smaller
Yes,
than
yes,
that.
yes.
So that's how it was changed to Sokolov, and it turned out to be a nice name.
Yes, it's an important Russian
There are a
name.
lot of
And they
important
use the
people.
translations in eagle.
Oh, is really?
An eagle. That's
Well,
what
you
I
know,
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah.
eagle, an eagle is a Sokolov?
Yes, that's
Oh.
confirmed that. I mean,
I will. You know, our name is Yoblick, which means an apple.
Oh,
We saw a Russian film, and the guy offered her a Yablikov, which is an apple. Yeah.
Oh.
So some people call us, for fun, they call us apple. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Well, there are some people by the name Apple.
Apple, so yeah. So anyhow, so he wrote you, so he wrote to Bubba, and he said, I'm sending you
Yeah.
your ship, what's it called?
Ship's card.
Ship's card.
Ship is a
Yeah,
boat,
ship
and card
is a card.
or
Okay,
the,
yeah,
ticket,
yeah.
ticket number,
Uh-huh.
or-
So he had to send a ticket for
Yes,
7
for-
people.
Yes.
Uh,
But we didn't have much extra money to pay for passage to get out of
Oh,
Russia.
sure, from
So we had to have a guide from the other side, from the other country. They knew the passageway through the forest, and they took us through the forest at night.
Oh, my
the
God.
little kids. When we got into that inn, INN, some of the people fainted.
Oh, gee.
And you see, she didn't want to be carried.
Yeah. She was, you were
She was
4.
4 years
And this
old.
man carried me.
Uh-huh. But you cried, you didn't
I
want.
remember
So she-
swamp.
What?
Swamp.
Swampy and damp.
Swamps and skunk.
Oh, my
trees,
God.
how we
At
got
night.
through it.
I don't know
And
how you
no
did it.
light, and these Polacks, you know, they could take us through because they knew the forest,
Mhm.
and they knew the roads. And they took us to that inn, which was on the other side, whichever.
Which was in
Or
Poland.
Poland, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Austria, you know, one of the countries
Yeah.
there. And they had tea for us, you know.
Did you
that-
stay overnight at the inn?
Who knows? We were just there,
I'm
you
sure.
know.
You must have. How long? Do you know how long it took you to get to the ship?
Oh, it took a long time because we had to go to Germany.
And did we go to England, Liverpool?
And at the end, we went to England, to Liverpool.
How did you go from? How did you get from Austria to England?
Good
Well,
question.
we went, it's really a miracle. How did Bubba know to lead us?
Yeah. How did you
She
know?
had wonderful instincts.
Well, somebody else. No.
Somebody
She had
must have
wonderful
told.
instincts,
Because you
too.
didn't speak German
No,
or
there
English.
was a woman, she sort of joined our group.
Yeah.
She was German, you know, or at least that she talked some German.
I'm
Uh-huh.
going to some man of authority.
Start here, where the station was, Stastia, you know.
Uh-huh.
She wore a hat, you know, she was
And you carried all your belongings?
everyone carried a package.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
what
When
belongings?
we had to go upstairs, you know how stations are, you go
Sure.
upstairs, and you go downstairs, you go sideways. You go
Oh my
forward.
God.
But
And carry. And how about the 1-year-old? She had to be carried. Aunt Rose had to be
Well,
carried.
they carried her all
Oh, my God.
How sick we were on the boat.
Oh, well, you wait till you get
that's
to the
later.
boat. Wait till now
Oh,
you.
we're not up to the boat
No, we're
yet.
not. Now you had did you had an eye
Oh,
condition?
before that, way before that, Davidson, he sent us instructions to go to a doctor for a physical examination, especially the eyes. They were so bright they couldn't read, but they knew everything. Everything.
It's amazing how he
Isn't
knew
it
all
amazing?
that.
So we went to it, and that's where Zeta's sister lived. So your dad and I went to stay with the aunt, and she took us to an eye specialist.
Amazing.
And he said that we should get some treatments.
Sure, because they would have rejected you when you got to Ellis Island. They would have sent you back.
They would
Yeah.
have sent us back.
Mhm.
But Zeta knew.
Yeah. Well, he heard because he knew that from Ellis.
People were
Yeah,
coming
they were
over.
sending them back. Yeah.
So, it was the first time I ever held money in my hand. And Dad,
Did it
he
feel
was
good?
like the older one, the boss.
My father,
He
yeah.
held it. I'll take care
Yeah.
of it. But some little things, he says, I'll give you the money, you buy it. Or something, whatever it was, And we felt so rich.
Imagine.
And this aunt was really nice to us. She's the one who went to South America.
Oh.
And there was one boy who was a deaf mute.
Is
But
that
he
right?
was very bright, very
Uh-huh.
bright. But of course we didn't know. We used to make him understand
Yeah,
certain
uh-huh.
things, but he was really bright.
I want to ask you a question. Since you were leaving Russia, how did you know that you would make it in time to get the ship, or were there many
Well,
ships that you could?
No, there weren't.
You had to
any,
make a
I don't
special
think.
ship.
I think the ship
Yeah.
charter was for.
Yeah, so it must
certain
have been
ship at
weeks.
certain times.
It must have taken you
A couple
weeks.
of weeks, we were in Holland.
Isn't that something?
We were in Holland, and Aunt Esther was very angry with Baldwin. She wanted to go everywhere to see everything, and she left Aunt Esther to take care of the kids. And Aunt Esther was mad, because Aunt Esther was older, and she
Yeah.
did good things. They went to the town, they went to the shore, where the
Is that right?
sandbags. Oh, they saw everything.
Is that so?
Sure. So Aunt Esther, the older ones, took care of the younger
Uh-huh,
ones.
of course.
Aunt Esther, but then other places, she says, I want to go and see too.
Mm-hmm.
So we were first out of Russia and Austria or Poland.
And Poland. Well, it would be Russia, Poland, then Austria, and then Germany.
Germany, we weren't there very long. Then Holland.
Holland.
And then,
Well, that's Holland.
yeah, that's Holland. Sure, that's where we were. Then we went to England, and from Liverpool, we had to have a little boat to take us from
Oh,
Holland
God.
across, and we went in the evening. I'll never
Ah.
forget how scared I was.
Across the channel.
Across
The channel, that's right. To
To
Liverpool.
Liverpool, and from Liverpool we got on the boat, and we thought everything was fine.
Bertha, you should have ran the channel.
And that's when the fun began for Europe.
Oh,
I
gee.
never thought he would reach America. None
The,
of us
the
thought.
tables weren't anchored or something. They float. So I hear.
They fell on the
fell
kids.
over
Ah.
and the falls off from the tape got in our
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah. That wasn't your eyes or what?
And the children, maybe it was my eyes.
Or
I don't recall. But the whole thing was a blur.
Oh,
from the-
gosh.
Now, well, let me tell you an incident I had. I was always squeamish about food. And Bubba had made kishka, you know what that is? Salami. She
Sure, I
made
know.
it. And she made toast, sacre, some certain dry bread with
Yeah.
sugar in it. That's a
With
delicacy.
heat, yeah.
Oh.
And other things she made, like smoked meat. I don't know how she.
And you
knew
carried
of
it.
them. Everything was carried.
Oh,
Like
God.
the grapes and wrath.
Yeah. Well, in Holland we got very good food, but we didn't like it. They gave us cheese.
But
What
I
kind of
don't
thing
know.
is that? Cheese. It didn't taste good. We knew cottage cheese.
You did
and-
know cottage cheese? Yeah.
Well, they used to make it at home.
Yeah.
We used to make it. It was probably the texture was a little different.
Yeah, of course.
In a bag.
Canvas.
Not canvas.
Cheesecloth.
Cheesecloth.
Yeah, and the water would run off, and then we'd eat the cheese.
Like the curd. It was like the curd,
was
yeah.
very good.
Mhm.
But the dry cheese, when they used to give it to us for breakfast, and very good coffee and things like that. So that we liked. So we'd ask Bubba to give us some of that hard bread. We had that with the coffee. And the cheese we didn't want. Now we paid so much money to get slices of Swiss cheese. At that time we didn't want to eat it. So, but on the ship, you know, what used to sustain us, we got herring. If you want herring, you got herring, you say. So we had it with the bread again.
Uh-huh. How much bread did you carry? It must have been
I don't know, well, it was dried.
Well,
Don't
they
forget we were
supplied some
kids.
food, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maybe they had
They
bread
did
on the
supply
table.
food on the ship.
They did, but we didn't eat it. Maybe bread.
Uh-huh. But you didn't eat the food on the ship?
Oh, my God. You know what? I passed by, like, from the outside I came in, and I had to pass, we were steerage all
Yeah, of course.
by the motor. So I passed through to go to our cabin. There were 50 other people there, 100 other people there. Anyhow, when I was walking through and I saw that food, I spit.
You were a fussy eater then.
And one of the men who was waiting on the table, he hit me.
Oh.
How was the sleeping arrangement?
Yeah, how you slept
slept
in
on the floor.
on the floor?
Yeah.
There were like 50 of you in this one
Well,
section.
maybe they had mattresses or something.
They must
It
have.
was like a large dormitory.
Some dormitory. They must have been boxed too, weren't they?
So
And you were in
they
steerage, I know that.
steerage all the way down. And sometimes it would be outside on the deck, and from the upper decks, you know, where the rich people travel, they threw us candy and pieces of cake, you know,
Uh-huh, sure.
And we thought, my God, look what they're getting.
Yeah, they got good food up there.
They were kings and queens, that's what we saw.
Yeah, now I know my father was sick the whole 12, it was 12 days.
Had 12,
12 days.
He
Oh.
was down there, and you know how we got him on the top deck?
You dragged him, I guess.
Did he tell you these things?
Pardon?
Did your father tell you these things?
Very little, but I knew he had been
wondered how much
seasick.
you
He
No.
was so sick.
Pardon me, I know he was seasick for the whole
Very
12 days.
sick. I know that's why he didn't want to take a cruise.
I know he wouldn't take a
The
cruise
longest
until he
time.
was in his 50s. That's,
Yeah, I told him one day, I said, only babies and, well, babies and older people don't get sick. He wasn't a baby at the time.
no, he was like 12,
Yeah.
I think he said.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, this I must have told you about. When we were going through all these cities and all the places.
Yeah, this
Oh, so you had to show your ship's card, you had to show your tickets, you had to show your passes, whatever else you had to have. And Dad was put down, I think, for 12. Maybe he was 13. After a certain age, you have to pay more
Oh.
for the fare.
Uh-huh.
So, Dad used to stand close.
With Neil almost with his knees all the way down.
Close, you know, it's just like the tellers in the bank.
Yeah,
you know,
he would
stand
squat
close,
down.
You know, that's me. But one of the tellers,
So,
she said, move back. Or it wouldn't be a she or a he.
yeah.
Move. And he tried to make himself look small. And all the incidents there.
What's the other reason I was really...
Yeah, well, you were younger.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aunt Rose, you know, of course,
She was a baby.
She was a baby, and Bubba took care of her all the time, carried her around the
Was it
mountain.
Bubba nursing her all this time?
Bubba was a very poor nurser.
Oh, so she had a bottle, I guess.
Bottle? Who had bottles?
Uh,
You know how the babies were fed?
how?
An adult, the mother or anybody, would take the food,
Oh.
a piece of bread or a cookie or a Zwieback or whatever or something like it, and chew it and take it from your mouth like the birds
Oh,
do,
yeah, like
and
the
put
Chinese
it,
do.
And put it
And in the
a-
baby's mouth.
Yeah.
How about that?
We
Nobody
survived.
And you lived, look at you.
Yeah, and nobody gets sick from it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
Huh.
well, Bubba did lose a couple of children because it was cold in the room, and they got pneumonia. A couple of children, because it was cold in the room, and they got pneumonia.
Oh, yeah. How many children did she have originally?
Originally, I think
I
she
hear
had
11.
11
Yeah.
children,
Couple
but
of
three
sisters, I think, and 3 children.
three
died.
children died. Yes, I knew
Because
that.
she
They
said
froze,
they
didn't they?
froze.
They froze, yeah.
During the night, the storm broke out. They
And the
used to
fire
have, like,
went out.
double windows, fire, you know. So they, I guess Bubba was asleep, or maybe she was half dead herself. Who knows?
Oh, isn't that amazing?
And when she got up in the morning,
The babies were.
frozen.
Yeah, I knew. I had heard that the
Yeah.
babies froze during the
They
night.
did.
Oh,
And there was snow all over.
Oh,
The
my.
snow went through,
Oh.
and
They probably said, don't worry, we'll have more.
yeah, they did. They had more.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, they used to worry. I know my mother-in-law, when I figured her children, you know, she also had about 11, seven, I think, were living when I met her. And when she told me who was the oldest, and then the next one, I said, did I call her Mom? Yeah. I said, Mom, how is it you figure there and there, and there are no children in between, you know? This one is so much older than the next one, you know. So she said she had 4 children, and they all died.
Oh, my
She
goodness.
had 4 children in between, and they all died.
Mm.
I said, 4
No.
children, what happened? She said it was an epidemic.
Oh,
You see,
my.
it
Yeah,
was
malaria
one
or
or the other
cholera or
whatever, or typhoid,
Yeah.
you know, they used to get typhoid, and then born. So, you know, she cried and everything, and every time she had a girl, she didn't have a boy, she cried. And my father-in-law, he said, Sorinka, her name
Sarah.
was Sarah.
Yeah.
You're young, you'll have boys. So she had 3 sons.
So she had how many? 7 survivors from the whole
Yeah,
family.
3 sons.
Yeah, and you had, and Bubba had 8, right?
7.
7.
Seven survived.
Seven
Yeah,
survivors.
Of course, Andy. You
Yeah, she was born here. Let
know.
me.
Is that all down there?
Aunt Bertha, I want you to tell us about the day you were born. It's interesting that you were born on Tisha B'Av, which is a very religious holiday.
And Baba always fasted on Tisha B'Av. But because I was born that day, she was permitted to eat something. But they couldn't bathe me because they weren't permitted to light the stove to heat water to bathe me. But Zeta, when he saw me, he thought I was so beautiful I shouldn't tell that. He kissed me.
So
He
you
always
weren't even
told me the
washed.
Story. I wasn't even washed. No, but Zeta, is it going good? When we were in you know, Castle Garden, that's all of that. And Zeta was sent for because there were 6 children, because of it, and also the investors before me, they didn't want anybody to come here to be a burden or
Deformed.
Well, whether she would be able to work and take care of herself. So Zeta came and he told them that he worked, she'll take care of his family thoroughly. So they let us through.
Yes.
And we came to Philadelphia.
Tell us a little bit when you came to Ellis Island. Tell us about Ellis Island a little bit. When you arrived.
Ellis Island was really very, very fascinating because we had never seen people like we saw in Ellis Island. We had never seen a black person. And we just went over and looked at them as though it was a picture or a museum or a statue or something like that, because we had never seen a black person. But they seemed to act normal, and they were very well dressed, and they looked attractive, but their skin was black, and we had never seen a black person.
Now, how long did you stay in Ellis Island?
I guess a couple of days. They gave us box lunches, and they were interesting. Now, we had never seen a banana and other fruits, you know, that we had never seen. It was in the lunchbox.
Did you eat the banana?
No, we tried to find out.
Her to get I don't, for years I couldn't look at them now, and I don't like them now either. In between, I got the allergy because it has been now.
me too.
Oh, you don't like them
No,
now?
no.
Because
I buy only 2 because they ripen around the same time. When I have 2 bananas, I have to suffer a little while and maybe buy 2 more another
you know, you
time.
can keep them in the refrigerator.
I know
That's
you
what I
can,
hear.
but I buy them, but they're not too ripe. And I try to get one that's a little riper.
They ripen in the refrigerator.
Yeah, they ripen and they stay for a while. They don't get bad if you keep them in the
They
refrigerator.
get dark, but
Yeah.
not bad.
So anyhow, you stayed in Ellis Island for
We
a couple of
stayed
days.
for a couple of days, and then Zeta took us to a house. It was, I guess, a 3-story house
Where was this, in Philadelphia or in New York?
in Philadelphia. And Zeta didn't know what kind of a neighborhood it was. It was like Vine Street or Ray Street.
What they call
And
the
it's
old
a-
city now.
No, the Red Line.
Oh, the Red Light District.
Yes.
Oh, that's around 8th and Vine, probably.
Around Vine, 7th or something like that. So anyhow, Zeta didn't know it was a nice house. So you see, he had a partner. When he opened up a shop, he had a partner. And the partner said he only had 2 children, so he'll take the 2nd floor, 3 rooms. And for us, because we were a bigger family, we had the 1st floor and the 3rd floor. So this one time, everybody
Was
went...
it Greenstein?
Huh?
Was it Mr. Greenstein, the partner?
Was that his name?
Yes.
McCool.
No.
No, it
No,
wasn't
no.
him. No, it wasn't him. So, I was home all alone, and the doorbell kept ringing, and every time I'd come to the door, there's a man there, and I don't know who he is, so I closed the door. And when I came home, I told Pop, he says, we're packing up and we're moving. So we moved, I guess, to American Street. And
In
it
a
was
court.
in a court, and it was one of those houses, one room on top of the
Father
other.
Stone.
Bandbox,
Yeah.
they call them, bandbox.
And there was water out in this court. You
yeah.
had to go outside, and that's one spigot. And that's where you got the water, brought it into the house, and heated up everything. And there was one toilet for the whole court.
Oh, how many houses were in the court?
Well, in that particular one, I think there were about 6 or 7.
Oh my, and one
That I
toilet.
remember.
One toilet.
And I think we lived in the end house. The
Well,
last
later we
Where was this, American and where?
American and
Ray, Vine,
Vine. Let me see what's the other street further up.
Tower Hill,
Yeah, no,
the Tower Hill, Ray, Vine.
no. How about further north?
Further up would be
Fairmount?
Fairmount, Green, Spring Rock, not that far up, no.
Yeah, well,
American is near Front Street, isn't it?
at that time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's still there. Americans between 2nd and 3rd.
Oh, is it between 2nd and 3rd?
Yes. So then we moved to another court, and the room seemed to be a little bit bigger. But this is one thing, no matter who came to America, they would come and look us up and ask if could they stay at our house until they got a job or found some place to go. And Bubba always made room. They'd sleep on the floor or
Well, sure.
they'd put down a blanket, and there they were. And some of them lived a couple of weeks, and they went away, and they never paid a penny or let us know where they are.
that would
or
be it.
anything.
Yeah, it was like,
That was it. After they got the job, they didn't know us. Yeah, but some of them remained nice, you know.
Mhm.
For years, we had a border.
yeah.
Certainly.
Put some water in the drink.
Kettle bowl.
Good meal. But that was, they came first. The families would be Rosie Fishman's father.
Oh.
Yeah, sure, relatives and the last life.
Hyde's father.
That's right.
Fishman and Schwartz.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Uh-huh.
everybody. But one thing I resented about bringing people in to eat, we didn't have too much, all right, we didn't starve. But next door was a couple, they had one child. And you know, they used to with the tote over her and spoil her and everything like that. But the mother of that child complained to Baba, she doesn't eat. So Baba looked at her, she said, what do you mean she doesn't eat? She looks all right. Well, she doesn't eat. She's skinny. She doesn't eat. So Baba said, you bring her into my house. Baba was always
feeding everybody.
bring her into my house. I'll teach her how to eat. So she came into our house.
Would I know them?
No, you wouldn't know.
Doesn't ring a bell.
And the kids sat down.
And she ate.
And she ate.
Because she had company.
Oh, boy.
So you lived on American Street for how long?
Oh, I guess about 2 years. And then we went to Oriana, or 3 years. Then
And
we
that's
went
when
to,
they came around and signed up kids for kindergarten.
Oh, yeah. And for
the-
free camp.
Is that
free
right?
country.
Free country, they call it.
We had the most charming, I remember her, she came and signed us up for kindergarten, and we got little woven baskets. Where
Well, they were social workers, you know.
Uh-huh.
they gave them to us from the kindergarten, well, Zeta brought them for us. We were near quite a market, 2nd Street was
Oh,
a big
sure,
market
2nd,
then,
certainly.
yeah.
That's right.
Like 9th Street is now, and we used to have an apple in it or something, and,
I remember 2nd Street
I went
with
to
that
school.
whole center where they
That's
had.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. They still have it. you
I
know.
went to kindergarten when I was 3 years old.
Is that right?
Definitely.
No, you were 4.
Four.
Because when you
So
came to
that's
this
it.
country.
But Rose, we went when we were 2 years old.
That's right.
Yeah.
Intro
Well, that
when
was
she was
good. Just
almost 2.
So so when you got here, then Bubba got pregnant again with Aunt Eve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And she was born in
That's
this
when I
country.
walked away from school and got lost for a day or
Is
two.
that
She
right?
wanted a drink of water.
And
She didn't talk for a week. She
I
was so
remember.
scared.
Oh. So how
I
did
walked
you
away from school, lost my sense of direction with a baby.
So they
I
asked
said.
her where she was going. She said she's going home to get a drink. So they asked her where does she live. So she says it's a house with a green step. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. They used to tease me for years. Of course, that's all I knew. I was green.
Green step.
But I remember being scared of it.
Sure.
She was so scared she didn't talk.
Yeah.
We were wondering when she would start
Yeah.
talking.
Right.
Once she started, she didn't stop.
So you went to kindergarten, and then
Oh,
you stayed.
yeah.
So you lived on Oriana Street for how long? A couple years.
Yeah, then we went to Island Road.
Yeah. And how long did you live
See?
at Island Road? What was
Island
that? A big house in Island Road?
Yeah, it was a nice house. It was a custom-made house.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'd love, Claire, would you drive me out there sometime?
Of course.
Well, you know, Rosalie and Sam pass there when they go to the airport.
Yeah.
I'd love to see
It was
that
a
house.
corner house.
Is
The
that
only
right?
thing
Why didn't
they had
84th and
outhouses. 84th and
84th
Bartram.
Eastwick, then comes Bartram, then comes
Is it
Pinkham.
still there? The house still there?
That
I saw
house.
it. I saw it not long ago.
Really?
I
Yeah.
went to a funeral. But
Oh.
Sarah Epstein
Oh,
died.
that's what you went
The
up
funeral
there?
was way up, and I remember passing it. My memory was I was 10 or 12 at that time.
No, you couldn't have been 12.
Bertha, I was.
You were?
Yeah, that's,
You know, I became 13 when we lived there, so you couldn't have been 12. But you know why I remember? I got menstruation.
Ah.
I became.
You became a woman.
Oh,
you
I
can
remember.
trace it because that's when
I
they
was
had that
13
great,
and a half.
they had that
I maybe
famous
she was
trolley,
close.
trolley strike.
Oh, a car strike. Sure.
Lady used to come with rags wrapped around his legs.
Yeah.
Feet.
And a board like a seat.
Oh.
Well, then I was younger. That doesn't make. But I had the best time of my life in Island Road.
Oh,
Oh,
is that
I
right?
loved it too. We had
It was like-
such
that's where
wonderful
we met.
The
friends.
Bucket Country.
The Bucket,
That's where
yeah.
we met the Buckle family that
So-
we knew for years. And
So
years.
how long did you live in Island Road?
And Island Road.
2 years.
Only 2
I would say
years.
definitely 2 years.
So why did you leave Island Road?
Well, you see, it was too hard for Sage.
Oh, because
see,
it-
when he built the house, the living room he made so that, you see, for instance, that's the porch. So usually you went into the living room from the porch. But he made a door into this big living room, and then he made a door to a hallway. so that we could go into the dining room from there. So this room could be independent by itself. He could
He was
walk
gonna
out
have a store.
because he was going to have a store, and he built shelves
Oh,
and
I see.
everything.
Uh-huh.
You know, he
I
wanted
remember
to
that.
What
leave
kind of
here
store
like
was he going to
a
have?
hardware,
Oh.
you know, things like
Uh-huh.
that. So anyhow, it didn't work out as a store, but we had the garden. We even
Isn't
had
that
a
something?
cow for a
Is
little
that
while.
right?
The toilet was on the outside.
And I
remember Aunt Esther had to take me one night. I had the cramps and go in the middle of the night to the toilet on the outside. But we had a bar next door to the house with a swing.
Is that right?
Yeah, you swung it right up to the ceiling.
To the sky.
And this is an interesting little side story. The Buckles' older daughter got married, Clara,
Yeah.
and came to live in one room in this house with a big
She had 2 rooms.
Yes.
She had the middle room and the
and
front
had her
bedroom.
first child there.
Yeah.
Marcia.
Living in your house.
Living
How
in-
big was the house? It must have been a pretty big
Well,
house.
they had 3 bedrooms and bathroom on the second floor.
Oh, it did have a
but then-
bathroom.
Yeah, but you had to fill up the tank and then pull a chain.
Oh.
So you had to fill up the tank by pumping. You know, you had to pump up the water.
So it did have a toilet inside.
It had a toilet that we could only use it if the tank was full
Oh,
of
my.
water.
So you had an
Yeah.
outhouse
Listen, no
also.
wonder I have trouble with my stomach. How can you go outside and freeze and sit out there? Sure. And that's how we all...
So when they built the house, even though there was a toilet inside, but it was very hard to use.
That's right. See, they built it like for the future. It had a